This is Radio Nepal. I'm Kaushal Gimire with the news. The headlines first. Ministry of Health and Population records additional 11,353 COVID cases in Nepal. People with corona symptoms to get free PCR test in government hospitals. Health Ministry warns of actions against anyone who do the unauthorized trading of COVID-19 vaccines. And U.S. President Joe Biden wants Russia not to test the Western countries' patience. Now the news in detail. A total of 11,352 new cases of COVID-19 were reported in Nepal yesterday. This is the highest number of daily infection in Nepal since the pandemic began. The Ministry of Health and Population confirmed the cases while testing 23,418 samples. Meanwhile, 613 people recovered from the COVID-19 yesterday. The ministry also reported 4 corona-related deaths yesterday, taking the corona-related death toll to 11,628 in the country. The Ministry of Health has urged people having flu-like symptoms to stay in quarantine for 5 days. At a press briefing at the ministry yesterday, Epidemiology and Infectious Disease Division Chief Krishna Prasad Paudel called on people to stay in quarantine and undergo a test if they develop symptoms like cough, cold, and sore throat. He also urged people to adopt healthy safety measures as the Omicron variant of COVID-19 has been seen to be more contagious than earlier variants. Meanwhile, the Health Ministry has assured of enough medical supplies, including essential drugs and medical equipment for the treatment of the COVID-19 patients. Joint spokesperson of the ministry, Dr. Samir Kumar Adhikari, said the ministry had directed government hospitals and provincial health logistics management centers across the country to update stocks of medicines, including the paracetamol. He has also said that the procurement process had been forwarded to bring additional medicines. Joint spokesperson Dr. Adhikari has informed that the ministry has reduced the COVID test fee. As per the new fee set by the government, people can have PCR test in a government hospital at 800 rupees and the private hospital could charge up to 1,500 rupees. However, people with symptoms would get free PCR test in government hospitals. Likewise, the Health Ministry has warned of stringent action against unauthorized trading of COVID-19 vaccine. Issuing a statement yesterday, the ministry urged people to report to the local administration or the police about unauthorized trading of the vaccine if they find any. The first batch of Nepali workers selected to work as auxiliary workers in the caregiving sector of Israel left yesterday. As many as 99 workers were in the first batch to leave for Israel. More than 1,000 workers selected for this category are scheduled to leave for Israel in the coming weeks. The first batch left Kathmandu for Israel yesterday after the completion of all the necessary processes. Minister for Labour, Employment and Social Security Krishna Kumar Shrestha and Israeli ambassador to Nepal Hanan Goder had reached the airport to bid the workers farewell. Meanwhile, the government of Nepal and the Israeli government have decided to establish a joint working team to prepare a bilateral agreement for sending Nepali nationals to work in the construction sector in Israel. The decision came after a constructive dialogue between Minister of Foreign Affairs Dr. Naren Kharka and Ambassador of Israel to Nepal Hanan Goder yesterday afternoon. The Election Commission has approved 21-point health safety protocol considering the upcoming National Assembly election set for the 26th of January. Spokesperson of the Commission, Komal Prasad Thamala, said, as per the part of the health safety precaution for the election, the Commission would set up health desk at the voting centres, manage separate voting system for the infected voters, and implement physical distancing. The Parliamentary Hearing Committee has decided to hold a discussion with Prime Minister on progress in implementation of inclusive and proportional system on the appointment of the ambassadors. The committee meeting held yesterday took the decision to invite the Prime Minister to inquire why the inclusive and proportional system was not being implemented fully as per the spirit of the Constitution. Committee Chair Lakshman Lal Karna said that the concerned ministries, Commission chairpersons and the experts would be invited to discuss the legal process relating to the inclusion and proportional system and its implementation in the country. You're listening to Radio Nepal's 8 a.m. English News Bulletin. Time for a short break now.
भाउजू दर्शन
भाग्यमानी बाबु राम्ररी आइपुग्नु भयो नि
हजुर राम्ररी पुगे उ चाहिँ मेरो कलेजको बेस्ट फ्रेन्ड
नमस्ते भाउजू
नमस्ते आउनु न भित्रै
हुन्छ भाउजू
अनि दादा त अफिस गइसक्नु भयो होला है
उहाँ त बिहानै हो हुन्छ तपाईहरु फ्रेस हुँदै गर्नु न म खाना तयार गर्दै गर्छु है
हस् भाउजू
ओए वाइफाई होला नि पासवर्ड माग्न
हे त पनि एनटीसी को सस्तो डे प्याक छदैछ नि
ए हो र
एनटीसी को डे प्याक लिन *1415# डायल गर्न
नेपाल टेलिकम राष्ट्रको सञ्चार
You're listening to Radio Nepal's 8 a.m. English News Bulletin. On to more news now. Chairperson of the Government of Tibet Autonomous Region of the People's Republic of China, Yan Jinhei, has assured to address Nepal's concerns by following the COVID-19 control measures that are in place. During a courtesy call to Chairman Hay at his office in Lhasa yesterday, Nepali Consul General Navaraj Thakal had urged the chairman to bring Nepali products to Tibet by roads, increase the number of cargo vehicles to Nepal, and facilitate the trade. Consul General Thakal also assured the government of Tibet that Chinese investment in Nepal would be protected and promoted. The Nepal Oil Corporation has increased price of petroleum products. Prices of diesel, petrol and kerosene have increased 3 rupees per litre, while aviation fuel has increased 5 rupees per litre, according to the new price adjustment list released by the Nepal Oil Corporation. Diesel and kerosene will now cost 122 rupees per litre and petrol will cost 139 rupees per litre. However, the price of cooking gas has been kept intact. You're listening to Radio Nepal's 8 a.m. English News Bulletin. On to some international updates now. U.S. President Joe Biden has said he thinks his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin will move in on Ukraine but does not want full-blown war. But he warned that the Russian leader would pay a serious and dear price for testing the West. Moscow denies planning to attack or invade Ukraine but has built up its forces. It is estimated to have about 100,000 troops close to the Ukraine's borders. The head of the World Health Organization, WHO, has issued a warning to world leaders that the coronavirus pandemic is nowhere near over. WHO chief Dr. Tedros cautioned against the assumption that the newly dominant Omicron variant is significantly milder and has eliminated the threat posed by the coronavirus. Speaking during a news conference at the World Health Organization's headquarters in Geneva, Dr. Tedros told reporters that the Omicron variant had led to 18 million new infections across the world over the past week. Now, the general weather forecast for the country for today, according to the Meteorological Forecasting Division. The weather will be partly to generally cloudy in Sudar Paschim province, along with the hilly regions of the country, and partly cloudy in the rest of the country. Light rain is likely to occur at some places in the hilly regions of the country. There is also a possibility of light snowfall at some places of the high mountainous region. Well, that's all the news we have for this bulletin, but before wrapping up, let's have the reminder of the headlines once again. Ministry of Health and Population records additional 11,353 COVID cases in Nepal. People with corona symptoms to get free PCR test in government hospitals. Health Ministry warns of actions against unauthorized trading of COVID-19 vaccines. And U.S. President Joe Biden warns Russia not to test the Western countries' patients. Well, that's all the news we have for this bulletin. Our next bulletin in English will be at 2 in the afternoon. You can also listen to us online at our website www.onlineradionepal.gov.np. Also, do check our English news portal at www.onlineradionepal.gov.np/English. Keep listening to Radio Nepal and have a good day.